Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you how to install this DC to DC charger in your Land Rover Discovery 3. I'll show you how I've wired it, the way I've ran the wires, and how to install it. Stay tuned. So we're going to start by pulling the bonnet, and we're going to locate the battery, which on my Discovery 3 is here. So pull these tabs back, lift the box up, same thing there, pull that up, you then pull this up and out, which exposes the battery. So we need to disconnect the battery completely and take it out so we can access to get a wire through behind, and obviously we need it disconnected to connect the electrics up anyway, so that's what we'll do next. We'll get the battery out. So on the Discovery 3s, 2s and most likely the 4s as well, it's a size 13. So we're going to loosen this and then disconnect positive, pull that out the way, disconnect the negative, that out the way if we can for now, and then we need a 10mm here and here to get the strap off, and then the battery will come out. So they're actually an 8mm. And put that to the side, safe for later. We're also going to disconnect the overspill pipe vent, and that should be the battery 3 to come out now. So with the battery out, we can get a little more access to the cables back here, which is where we're going to run our big main power lead through. Probably down there there's a boot behind the fuse box. That's probably where we're going to end up running it through into the cabin, and then from there through the car. So we'll get on with that first. So we got the under tray from under the glove box out without removing the glove box. You turn these screws here, and then you have to take this trim out here as well, which just pulls out, and then this pops off, and then disconnect the light there as well, just so you don't pull the cable out, which has given us our red cable that we've run through the firewall through a grommet. I'll show you which grommet that is. So we've gone through this grommet here, we put a teeny weeny little slit in there, and that's where we've run the cable through. So what we're going to do now is grab this cable, pull it through as far as we need, and then run it all the way along right into the boot where the battery's going to be. So I've pulled the cable through, run it all the way through this track, around the back, up this track, then I put it in some cable protection, run it all the way up, all the way through out here. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to pin it along there, run it all the way along the back to the split charger. So we've got it P-clipped in place there, and all the trims back in. So now we're going to go put all the trims back in the bonnet area. So as this was the kit off my old Land Rover, it's already got the fuse, the terminations, everything on it ready. So what we're going to do is put all the battery back in now, and we're going to temporarily just connect it up before we do much more. Run the car and make sure it's receiving charge at the battery at the back. So we'll do that next. So we got the battery back in. I've connected the red for the car, the positive, but left the red line all the way to the back disconnected, as we're still working on that at that end at the minute, and we don't want any accidents. So battery's all back in, bolted down and strapped up. So at the back of the car we've got the power coming out from the other side of the car, and I'm not sure if I've done a video on this before, but this is the DC to DC charger that I've got installed. So this was all this drawers, and the charger was installed on my old Land Rover, which is why it's all kind of wired up. So you've got the DC to DC charger. The blue line that comes out is into the battery that sits here. The auxiliary battery sits in front of this. So the blue line comes out and goes into that. The red wire, the big red one, is the input wire, so that will be connected in this junction box to the power cable we've just ran from the front. You then got a black one which runs to a grounding board, so all my grounds run to that. We'll then ground to the seatbelt or chassis somewhere, and then this is our power take off line. So we've got the negative and the positive wire here, this brown one, which runs through the cupboard here and to the switch panel at the front, which I'll show you at the end when it's all working. And the little blue one is like a signal wire, so you can have it set to you like connect that to a source, so you can trigger this on and off via a switch. So if you don't want it charging all the time, you can have it off. So we'll get the positive connected up and then see if it starts charging. So the connection there is all done. That's our positive. Now we need to do the negative. So we've taken out the seatbelt mount, and what I'm going to do is grind a lot of that paint off so we can get a good ground point there, as it's the closest ground to this unit. So I'll grind that out and then I'll show you what I've done. So I'll ground a little patch off there as best I can, and we've got the multimeter set up here, which is connected to a 12-volt source on the car, and when we touch it to the ground we get 12 volts. So we've got a nice solid ground there, which will now bolt the earth strap to. So our negative is all hooked up. It runs down behind the trim and down to our seatbelt mount, and now we're ready to whack a battery in and test it. So the battery is now in. It's this AGM Leisure battery. What we're going to do is start the engine, check the power lights on the side of the unit and make sure everything is good. So now we'll connect the positive at the battery at the front. So this is the main starting battery. Now I've connected the positive this end. We're going to start the engine and make sure we get some lights that come on there. So I'm going to leave the camera here, start the car, and you should see lights come on. As you can see now it's running. We've got a charging light to show that it's charging from the main car, so everything is working as it should be. So what we'll do is we'll quickly test the voltage. So as you can see, the voltage here at the battery is 14.64 volts with the engine running, which means we're charging and everything is working as it should. With everything now wired up, I'll just give you a run through what we've got. So we've got power in from the charger, which charges the battery. You've got a power out to the switchboard, which I'll show you in a moment. Then we've got all of our negative connections here. You've got negative ground to chassis, negative from the charger. The big one there is negative from the battery. And then in the middle is all my accessories. So you got this wire here, which is solar input, and then you've got the lights, and then the switchboard negative at the front, which run through a little hole in the back there and in the cupboard, which I'll show you now. So this is the switch panel in the back of the car, which controls everything. You've got this is a main. This switch powers the whole board. So if this switch is off, nothing will work. It then shows us our voltage. You've got the light switch here, which turns the rear lights on and off, and then you got this one here, which will turn the fridge on and off. And then I've just got to wire up a few more for the diesel heater as well. So that all runs to this board through some trunking down here in the bottom of the cupboard, through some boxing to here where it's all controlled from. So that's how you install a DC to DC charger in a Land Rover Discovery 3. Thanks for watching.